We believe in America 2012 Republican platform. Restoring the American dream, rebuilding the economy and creating jobs. We are the party of maximum economic freedom and the prosperity freedom makes possible. Prosperity is the product of self-discipline, work, savings, and investment by individual Americans, but it is not an end in itself. Prosperity provides the means by which individuals and families can maintain their independence from government, raise their children by their own values, practice their faith, and build communities of self-reliant neighbors. It is also the means by which the United States is able to assert global leadership. The vigor of our economy makes possible our military strength and is critical to our national security. This year's election is a chance to restore the proven values of the American free enterprise system. We offer our Republican vision of a free people using their God-given talents, combined with hard work, self-reliance, ethical conduct, and the pursuit of opportunity, to achieve great things for themselves and the greater community. Our vision of an opportunity society stands in stark contrast to the current administration's policies that expand entitlements and guarantees, create new public programs, and provide expensive government bailouts. That road has created a culture of dependency, bloated government, and massive debt. Republicans believe in the great American dream, with its economics of inclusion, enabling everyone to have a chance to own, invest, build, and prosper. It is the opposite of the policies which, for the last 3.5 years, have stifled growth, destroyed jobs, halted investment, created unprecedented uncertainty, and prolonged the worst economic downturn since the Great Depression. Those policies have placed the federal government in the driver's seat, rather than relying on energetic and entrepreneurial Americans to rebuild the economy from the ground up. Excessive taxation and regulation impede economic development. Lowering taxes promotes substantial economic growth and reducing regulation encourages business formation and job creation. Knowing that, a Republican president and Congress will jumpstart an economic renewal that creates opportunity, rewards work and saving, and unleashes the productive genius of the American people, because the GOP is the great opportunity party. This is our pledge to workers without jobs, families without savings, and neighborhoods without hope. Together we can get our country back on track, expanding its bounty, renewing its faith, and fulfilling its promise of a better life, job creation. Getting Americans back to work. The best jobs program is economic growth. We do not offer yet another made-in-Washington package of subsidies and spending to create temporary or artificial jobs. We want much more than that. We want a roaring job market to match a roaring economy. Instead, what this administration has given us is 42 consecutive months of unemployment above 8%, the longest period of high unemployment since the Great Depression. Republicans will pursue free market policies that are the surest way to boost employment and create job growth and economic prosperity for all. In all the sections that follow, as well as elsewhere in this platform, we explain what must be done to achieve that goal. The tax system must be simplified. Government spending and regulation must be reined in. American companies must be more competitive in the world market, and we must be aggressive in promoting U.S. products abroad and securing open markets for them. A federal state-private partnership must invest in the nation's infrastructure. Roads, bridges, airports, ports, and water systems, among others. Federal training programs have to be overhauled and made relevant for the workplace of the 21st century. Potential employers need certainty and predictability for their hiring decisions, and the team of a Republican president and Congress will create the confidence that will get Americans back to work. Small business and entrepreneurship. America's small businesses are the backbone of the U.S. economy, employing tens of millions of workers. Small businesses create the vast majority of jobs, patents, and United States exporters. Under the current administration, we have the lowest rate of business startups in 30 years. Small businesses are the leaders in the world's advances in technology and innovation, and we pledge to strengthen that role and foster small business entrepreneurship. While small businesses have significantly contributed to the nation's economic growth, our government has failed to meet its small business goals year after year and failed to overcome burdensome regulatory, contracting, and capital barriers. This impedes their growth. We will reform the tax code to allow businesses to generate enough capital to grow and create jobs for our families, friends and neighbors all across America. We will encourage investments in small businesses. We will create an environment where adequate financing and credit are available to spur manufacturing and expansion. We will serve as aggressive advocates for small businesses, tax relief to grow the economy and create jobs. Taxes, by their very nature, reduces citizens' freedom. Their proper role in a free society should be to fund services that are essential and authorized by the Constitution, such as national security and the care of those who cannot care for themselves. We reject the use of taxation to redistribute income, fund unnecessary or ineffective programs, or foster the crony capitalism that corrupts both politicians and corporations. Our goal is a tax system that is simple, transparent, flatter, and fair. In contrast, the current IRS code is like a patchwork quilt, stitched together over time from mismatched pieces, and is beyond the comprehension of the average citizen. A reformed code should promote simplicity and coherence, savings and innovation, increase American competitiveness, and recognize the burdens on families with children. To that end, we propose to extend the 2001 and 2003 tax relief packages, commonly known as the Bush tax cuts, pending reform of the tax code, to keep tax rates from rising on income, interest, dividends, and capital gains. Reform the tax code by reducing marginal tax rates by 20% across the board, in a revenue-neutral manner. Eliminate the taxes on interest, dividends, and capital gains altogether for lower and middle-income taxpayers. End the death tax. And repeal the alternative minimum tax. American competitiveness in a global economy. American businesses now face the world's highest corporate tax rate. It reduces their worldwide competitiveness, encourages corporations to move overseas, lessens investment, cripples job creation, lowers United States wages, and fosters the avoidance of tax liability, without actually increasing tax revenues. To level the international playing field, and to spur job creation here at home, we call for a reduction of the corporate rate to keep U.S. corporations competitive internationally, with a permanent research and development tax credit, and a repeal of the corporate alternative minimum tax. We also support the recommendation of the National Commission on Fiscal Responsibility and Reform, as well as the current President's Export Council, to switch to a territorial system of corporate taxation, so that profits earned and taxed abroad may be repatriated for job-creating investment here at home without additional penalty. Fundamental tax principles. We oppose retroactive taxation, and we condemn attempts by activists, judges, at any level of government, to seize the power of the purse by ordering higher taxes. We oppose tax policies that divide Americans or promote class warfare, because of the vital role of religious organizations, charities, and fraternal benevolent societies in fostering benevolence and patriotism. They should not be subject to taxation, and donations to them should continue to be tax-deductible. In any restructuring of federal taxation, to guard against hypertaxation of the American people, any value-added tax or national sales tax must be tied to the simultaneous repeal of the 16th Amendment, which established the federal income tax. Reining in out-of-control spending, balancing the budget, and ensuring sound monetary policy. The massive federal government is structurally and financially broken. For decades it has been pushed beyond its core functions, increasing spending to unsustainable levels. Elected officials have overpromised and overspent, and now the bills are due. Unless we take dramatic action now, young Americans and their children will inherit an unprecedented legacy of enormous and unsustainable debt, with the interest alone consuming an ever-increasing portion of the country's wealth. The specter of national bankruptcy that now hangs over much of